everybody. It's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movies. Okay, tonight was Masterchef Junior, season 8 and episode 5. Is that right? It was called Daphne's Baby Shower. Daphne is the pregnant chef. And what they did was they had a team challenge in which they invited 21 or 22 pregnant women, and they were very pregnant. They were probably all in their 5th month, which means they were all showing. And it was divided into 2 teams, the pink and the blue, and I guess you can guess that the pink team were the girls, and the blue team were the boys.
I'm not happy, Safi.
Well, neither Marco nor me were happy right off the bat. In fact, I might give the whole episode a D right off the bat.
I give it an F-.
Because we thought it encouraged bias in that they didn't see the cooks. Whenever they do these
They
challenges,
didn't have to see them. They didn't have to.
They don't have to see them. They just assume when they say pink versus blue, they're probably thinking girls versus boys.
Yeah.
And I just don't agree. I don't agree with that. Even if let's say they were very honest, and many of them, didn't.
Yeah, let's just pretend like they aren't biased pregnant women. Let's just pretend like they're not biased, okay? Even so, it still would have been a lot better to just have it be
A and B.
Team black versus team white.
We don't want to do that either.
Never mind.
I would say just Team A versus Team B.
And
nobody would have known they wouldn't even suspected, thought about it.
Yeah.
There would have been and then you can't say there was bias because they don't see the people cooking at all. So they don't know what kids are cooking what. And I think they were trying to get this theme of, the pregnant women, they're going to have either a girl or a boy.
It was a very girly episode. It was very girly.
I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with the possible bias. And I'm sorry. Even though what happened with the boys, because they had a clash of personalities.
We'll talk about it. So.
It wouldn't matter to me. It would have helped me reconcile the fact that they had it split into girls versus boys, and they encouraged a bias, and it just by calling them the pink versus the blue.
It would be like, agree with it. It would be like saying, okay, Marco, would you vote for Team Spaghetti or Team Salad? What would you think I would vote for, Safi? Team Spaghetti?
Yeah, you would.
Or for you, you don't really have any favorites except for, I don't know.
Okay, I don't.
Musicals. Let's say. Which team would you rather vote for, Safi? Team musical or team westerns? You're going to vote for musical because you like musicals and you're biased towards them.
Well, I mean, you can try to avoid having the bias as much as possible, but you're inviting it, and you're inviting the bias, and it would have been best just to not have the appearance of that and just have Team 1 versus Team 2 or versus A versus B. And I know it sounds boring maybe, but too bad.
Well,
who
just
cares?
Come up with the creative names like Team Birth Control versus Team Abortion.
Okay, that's just stupid then. Don't even ignore what he just said. It's just asinine and stupid. Really stupid.
Team
No, let's just not do that.
No, I was going to say something food related.
Just A or B or 1 and 2.
Team Rocky Mountain Oysters versus
Marco.
Team Scallops. You know, but just come up with some interesting team names like Team Sky versus Team Water. Or something like that, you know. Like, it just seemed like the whole episode was centered around girls. Like, without making it like a women's episode like they did last year and everyone hated it and gave it 1 out of 10. Without doing that type of thing, they just did this instead. And I kind of felt like it was a huge piece of shit episode. Like, I'm sorry, but I was really pissed off with this terrible episode for a variety of reasons. Like, number one, it's another team challenge. I don't know how many team challenges they're going to have this season. I hate the format of every single episode. Like, every single episode I feel cheated out of the episode's content. Like, I feel like I'm not watching a good picture of the show. And every episode has a terrible format. And to where, like, I mean, all the team episodes. Because and Safi, people can hear. In the team episodes, usually you'd have a team challenge, and then the second half, they do an elimination challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. Now it's just a whole episode is a team challenge, and then at the end,
the very end, maybe
like,
the last 5 minutes. Or
no,
less.
with the last minute of the show, the very last minute, like it's that retarded, and I hate it. I hate it so badly, like without even like the content of the episode, like just the format of, and it seems like they're doing it on purpose so that they can have more shitty ads.
Yeah, there are a lot of ads.
A lot of advertisements that no one cares about. I mean, you're not getting me to buy anything based off of these ads. You're not fooling me. So they're a waste of time. And I don't know why, like, you're advertising so heavily during a children's program anyway. So it's pretty bizarre. And then you have the fact that, Safi...
My leg is killing me.
Okay.
It's cramping up.
Okay. Then you have the fact that you have this concept of Daphne is pregnant with her 12,000th child. Probably going to be born a mutant, like in The Hills Have Eyes. But that's a separate topic for discussion.
I don't know what Marco's doing. It's just, I think another thing I had issues with is that you're dealing with a group of people who are probably the most vulnerable of anybody you could serve. Because whatever they put in their mouth, their baby gets to eat it too. So if there's anything wrong with the food, anything that could make them sick, it could cause problems for their pregnancies.
Yeah, it would have.
And I'm not exaggerating.
It could have been like the Sharon Tate incident in Masterchef Junior.
What are you doing?
It could have accidentally poisoned both of them. And
what are you doing?
But you got me off track. I was talking about Daphne, and you had this concept of pregnant women, and they have weird cravings. I guess
that's stuck in their heads.
I kind of missed the first 5 minutes, so I don't really know. But she has cravings. They all have cravings. And so I thought they'd have a cool challenge where it'd be a fun challenge where they'd, I don't know, make elevated dishes based off of their pregnancy cravings. And they did that before on a Cake Boss show, I think. I think Buddy made a cake that was all about the cravings or something. I can't remember. And so I thought, that'd be a cool challenge. That'd be a fun challenge. And then of course they do the elimination challenge. Well, instead they decide to do this stupid team challenge where they do a restaurant thing where all the pregnant women sit around and wait for these little kids to make them their food.
A regular lunch.
Yeah, and it's basically like a stupid, snotty restaurant challenge where it's like, oh, which team of kids can cook the restaurant quality food for these pregnant women? And it's like, it's just so stupid and so... I hated this episode. It just... Nothing about it was good. Nothing at all.
And the issue about the bad food came up. Because the boys
did not cook the chicken. Yeah.
And you could see it. They showed it multiple times. Not once. Multiple. Where the chicken, and even what was funny, they finally pulled out some that were pretty good. And we're done, I guess. But Daphne was eating with the ladies, and she got a piece of chicken that wasn't cooked.
I thought that was funny. I also was kind of confused why Daphne was allowed to eat with the pregnant women, because I kind of thought that, I don't know.
It's called Daphne's baby shower.
It's kind of like polluting the water, though. Like, she's a judge, she should be like sequestered off in her own little private chambers, along with Aaron. And Aaron, it was really funny because Aaron got the girls' team. Because he's Gordon Ramsay's bitch. And then Gordon got the boys, and so, of course, I mean, see, that's what I mean, Safi, is that this episode felt very fake. Like, the fact that Gordon got the boys. So what happened? The boys had the most trouble.
There's multiple things.
Gordon yelled at the boys the most, and it was basically like Hell's Kitchen. And so it kind of felt fake, to where it was like, is this orchestrated? Like, is this fake? Because Aaron, like, he's with the girls, and like, they didn't really have any problems at all. And so it kind of felt like a big fake sort of female baby shower type of episode, like really, really weird, like really kind of creepy, actually. Like kind of creepy. Do you agree with that, Safi?
Well, I don't know about that. It's just
isn't that weird?
Like I said, there are two things, basic things, and there were major basics, and that is, they invited a possible bias by naming it the pink and the blue team, which I think anybody, it's not rocket science, would think that pink refers to girls and blue refers to boys, meaning the teams could be and might be girls versus boys. The second thing is they're serving the most vulnerable people in the population who are pregnant with another being inside of them. And everything they put in their mouths goes to the baby. So you're talking about, these are kids, number one. And some of them are talented, and maybe they will be chefs someday. But right now, they're kids. And they're making them, they weren't cooking something simple. One team, the girls cooked salmon, and the other team cooked chicken. And so they invited chicken, undercooked chicken, which would make the pregnant women sick.
Okay. Back to the discussion. As I was saying, it just seemed very weird that, Gordon, he's the head of the whole show, and he gets the boys, and then the boys have the most trouble, so therefore Gordon has the most screen time. And he has the
Scream or screen?
Screen time. To where, it's like, it felt really contrived and really strange. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, maybe. I never even thought about that.
I was like, ooh, this is kind of weird.
I don't know.
And the fact that, one of the girls, I can't remember which one, but they said some retarded ass shit where they said like the girl power is the most powerful power.
Oh.
And it's like, that's just cringeworthy bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, but I know that this is supposed to be a kids show review, but I don't give a fuck. Like, that's the stupidest fucking shit I've ever fucking heard. And I don't really think that people should be allowed to go around on television saying that, because it's sexist. It's like, why would you let your, like, would you, like, if a boy said, the boy power is the best power, would you be happy with that?
No. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. And so I didn't understand why that was in the show. I thought that was really cringeworthy and stupid. And I thought that it was just one of the many things that just made this episode trash. And Safi, what else do you have to say about the girl power one?
Well,
I mean, did you like that? You just kind of shrug it off.
I just, because
because you're like, who cares?
Well, to me that's so unimportant compared to the other things. The other things affect the whole outcome of the competition and of the.
But after they filmed this episode, there was an editor who saw that girl say that cringeworthy line, and they decided to leave it in the show. And that editor, that was a decision that they made. And so you have to wonder, why was that decision there? Why was that decision made? But that isn't the biggest problem with the episode. There's tons of other bigger problems. Like Gordon. Grayson. So let's talk about the team, Safi. You have the girl team, and now the girls were led by the Asian girl. I can't remember her name, as usual.
Is it Elaine? Elaine or?
I can't really remember any names, actually, because I just don't care.
Because we have nicknames for them.
Yeah.
And
my fair Masterchef Junior is about all I can remember.
I call her Pearls, but I don't think she had her pearls on today, actually.
She's too busy putting pearls on the plate. And then you had the boys' team with Grayson as the leader.
For some reason, we know that one because it's an unusual name, I think.
I think he should be. He kind of acts like he should be the next Kevin in a Home Alone movie. And so I'm just going to call him Home Alone Idiot, because...
Why don't you call him Kevin?
Kevin, but he's not really a Kevin. He's more like the one from the fifth one. The fifth Home Alone. Oh, wait, he was Kevin. Wait, no, was he?
No,
was he Kevin? I'm going to have to watch Home Alone again. And then rank them again.
Have fun with that. I haven't even heard that.
But the thing is that, remember, guys, in the first episode, I talked all about how when Safi was sleeping in the first episode review, I was talking about how you think that these chefs are good. You might think that Kevin from Home Alone is good. But then when he gets in a team competition, he's going to be exposed. Or he could be exposed, I should say. Because that's what always happens is you have in MasterChef, you have a great chef, and then they get in a team challenge, and they get exposed. And so, in my opinion, Kevin from Home Alone, he got exposed in this episode. Because he not only... I mean, it's been like multiple weeks now where the team challenge leaders have been effeminate and weak, and someone else has had to take over for them. Not in this episode. They didn't let that happen. But the fact that, Gordon hasn't punished the leader when they've sucked, 4 or 5 times now? Why is that, Safi?
I don't know.
I can understand, one time, with the magician. He gave up his power to Mafia Don, and he did a better job, and so at least he did that. And then with the girl, the girl in that same episode, she took accountability and she was actually a good leader. But like, how many times now is it going to be where we have a team leader who's effeminate and weak and he can't get the job done, and then Gordon lets them stay because they want to eliminate someone else who did something, kind of trivial, honestly. Like, because the thing is that, at the end of the day, like, the leader is in charge of everything. Like, the head chef is in charge of everything, and if you have a shitty leader like Kevin from Home Alone, your team is going to suck. No matter who's on it. Like, I don't care that the slob, I don't care that he didn't cook the chicken properly. I care that Kevin from Home Alone just stood by and let it happen. And then at the end, Gordon is like, "Oh, you go ahead up in the balcony, Kevin from Home Alone, because there's 3 other kids who deserve to go home more than you." And I was just like, "What? Like what the F? Like, I don't think so. I mean, it should have been between Kevin, Mafia Don, and the slob. And I think that Kevin should have gone home. Actually, no, I will say, I don't think anyone should have gone home because they should have done an elimination challenge. Right, Safi?
Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah, no, they should have done an elimination. We talked about that. All they did was this team competition. In the last 5 minutes, within the last 5 minutes, they decided who's going to go home, and that was it. They didn't even have a chance to do an elimination challenge. They didn't have, and that would have been, we know, because it was the boys' team that lost, and they didn't just lose, they lost in a landslide, and they emphasized that.
Yeah, 15% is all that they got as vote.
And so, to me, I think somehow they could have. They showed a lot of shots of the women sitting there at their tables, and they're all pregnant. They're all dressed very nicely, and I think they could have edited it down, and put in an elimination challenge.
Yeah.
And it could have been something quick, and I just
like something really simple. They did that on Worst Cooks in America. Remember that, Safi?
I suppose.
Where, like, at the very, very end, they'd have to do, like, a really quick elimination challenge.
Yeah. And it was...
Like, cut this, do this little simple thing in a matter of, like, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like, a very quick thing.
It worked out.
Yeah.
It was fine.
See, that was good. That's a good show.
And it made it acceptable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. There's just too many things that were unacceptable.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't understand why. Why?
It was bothersome because then at the end, they said that they were sending the slob home because he's had a pattern of being slow. Like, it's starting to become a pattern now. And it's like, well, he can be slow. Like, there's no such thing as, like, being slow doesn't automatically make someone a bad chef. Like, to me, the worst mistake was the leadership of the blue team was terrible. And it completely ruined the team. I mean, it's mind-blowing. The fact that they saw the leader being trash, and then they saw the slob, and just because the slob, like, didn't, he undercooked some chicken, it just, I mean, what do you think, Safi? Because, like, I mean, you gotta be, come on, Safi, be unbiased here, because we all know you're biased against the slob, because he's a slob.
I knew, because he's a slob, that would affect his performance, and it did. Because what did he do with the chicken? He put garlic on top.
I didn't get to see that. Remember, you're shielding the phone from me? I never saw that.
you don't want me to look at? Well, at the very beginning, they decided what they were going to make, which they both did good. Both teams did good. They decided right off the bat what they wanted to make.
I disagree. I thought that making strawberry shortcake was kind of a retarded decision.
Well,
actually.
It was simple, and with that complicated brownie, it was interesting. The brownie dish that the girls did was a lot more adult and complicated.
It's like the brownie that you can get from TGI Fridays.
Oh, really?
It's almost exactly like that, except theirs also has ice cream instead of the whipped cream.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's good they didn't have ice cream. They would have them make the ice cream.
I think that.
Which just would have added another complication.
I really think that, like, if someone else does chocolate, then you should probably do chocolate too, unfortunately. Because that's another thing. Like, everybody loves chocolate, which they even said in the episode. Like, how could you go wrong with chocolate?
Yeah. Well, that I know. Well, see, there you go again. They had an advantage because they decided on chocolate, and the other team, of course, the other team could have made chocolate mousse.
That's what I was saying, is that the other team should have chosen chocolate too. They should have said, oh, they're doing chocolate, oh, we better do chocolate too, because everyone loves chocolate. I hate strawberry shortcake, so...
I love strawberry shortcake.
Well, see, strawberry shortcake is an acquired taste.
But I didn't like the biscuit they made with it at all. They should have had... But I guess they didn't have the time, but I think it would have been better to have pound cake.
And as soon as I saw the brownie, I was like, oh, I'd vote for that a million times over the strawberry shortcake. I don't even care how it tastes. Like, you have the pecans on top. I mean...
drizzled chocolate sauce.
Whipped cream. Just like, it's so much better than strawberry shortcake, in my opinion.
Well, it was a lot more advanced. It looked more advanced.
Now, I will say, for the entree, it was pretty mixed for me. Like, both entrees seemed like they could be pretty good. But I honestly think the girls' one sounded better as well. Because the boys' one, it was just kind of boring. And, they picked chicken. And if just the fact that, you said that they thought that they gave the kids too high of a task to complete. Mm-hmm. That's why I was saying that they should have done like a comfort food challenge, a pregnancy craving challenge, but also the fact that, like, the kids, they're not going to take into consideration food poisoning pregnant women into their decision making, and so I really think that the kids, them choosing chicken, it was a sign that they're kind of like, they're immature, mm-hmm. and they weren't really old enough to handle this challenge, and that they should have chosen something else. Like, I don't know. Anything else?
Or just not have pregnant women.
Or just do the pregnancy cravings challenge, yeah. Which would have been fun. I was looking forward to that. I thought, like, it's MasterChef Junior. They're not going to do a snotty restaurant challenge where, oh, they are? Oh, God. And then next week, finally next week, they're going to have an elimination challenge. But the trick is that next week, what's going to be the flaw, Safi?
I don't know.
That we don't get to see everything.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Safi?
I don't know.
Speak up.
I said I don't know, but that's true because we've already had that. And it'll happen.
And the slob went home because the judges make shitty decisions, and I would rate this episode an F-.
Well, I gave it a D because those two things that major things I've talked about several times, it just overshadowed it for me, and I wasn't even thinking about the chocolate versus the strawberry. They all like chocolate, and the girls knew that. I mean, they're not dumb. And the boys, it's like they didn't even, I don't know if it was the editing, but it's like they didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. The fact
Which I don't get that at all either.
I mean, honestly, who the hell would think that strawberry shortcake would be a brownie?
Yeah, so that's another thing. I don't understand that, and I don't know if it was editing or that they really thought that, and I'm kind of surprised. It makes no sense to me. So anyway,
But Safi, you know what that meant, though. The slob going home, you know what that means.
No, I don't.
It means that I'm going to have to cook you a recipe for Masterchef Junior cookbook.
Great.
Instead of you cooking me a recipe. Because we made a bet that the slob would get into the finale.
Oh.
And if he did, Safi would cook me Masterchef Junior. But now I'm going to have to cook her Masterchef Junior.
Well, I knew he wasn't going to make it because he was not careful. At the very beginning, since you didn't see it, he put garlic on top of a piece of garlic on top of each chicken. And then... What was it at the bottom?
Safi, that is what you call that's the future of food. That's you're just not ready for it yet.
Oh, please.
You know, like in Back to the Future when he plays the song and he's like, "You guys aren't ready yet, but your kids are gonna love it."
Even
that's what it's like.
And then he did something else. And they're like, "What do you do?" And the other boy said, "What are you doing?"
I got to admit, too, I hate the Mafia Don now.
No, I don't like him either.
I really despise.
I think that was another problem.
People like that, like with the attitude that they have.
I think that another problem is with him and the slob. They were kind of both alpha personalities, and they were just butting heads from the start.
I don't know, like alpha, like.
Well, they were
Mafia Don literally just stood around like complaining about people, like.
And I didn't like that either.
I would have done better.
Yeah, he did, and I didn't. Who helps? Who does he help by saying that?
I just thought
How does he help his team by saying that?
He acted so childish in this episode.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
And so I really didn't like him at all.
No,
and
I didn't either.
I don't like him anymore. Like he exposed. See, that's the thing. Team challenges expose people even more than like regular solo challenges. And so in this episode, to me, the slob, like the only thing was that he had an off week. And to be honest, it's disappointing because last week he had a mistake and Gordon gave him like a speech to like try to steer him towards redemption. And I was really excited to see, like, oh, we're going to get to see, like, a better slob now? No. We get a shitty team challenge where Mafia Don stands around bitching at people.
He did.
And then Kevin from Home Alone just stands around like an effeminate, weak little man, not leading people at all. And then at the end, it's like, oh, he can just, he's safe. Of course he's safe.
But no,
like,
why? But he wasn't thinking that.
Why?
He said from the start, he said,
he agrees with me.
Yeah, he did. He said, I think that I'm going to be the one to go home because nobody would listen to me because I didn't speak up.
He said...
And it wasn't all his fault.
He said that, but he said that he realized he loves taking orders more than he loves giving them, and so to me, like, I really think he should have gone home. That was a huge error, I really think that, like, that was a mistake. So.
Well, probably neither one. Well, we know this slob won't make it, but he won't make it to the end either. And I don't know who. In fact, even if
I think it'll be 2 girls, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure, but they're just too mature.
Because I thought that the slob would pull through and make a slobby Robbie.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be funny if he went to the finale and then he made them like sloppy joes or something? Like the sloppy joes, and he makes some elevated sloppy joes, or no, he deconstructs sloppy joes, and like it's like shrimp sloppy joes. That would have been funny.
I think we should wrap it up now.
Really?
I think we've said everything we were going to say.
How do you know?
Because I just know. You gave it an F, and I gave it a D.
How many babies out of 10 babies would you give this episode?
What?
Well, it's a pregnancy-themed episode. I give it 1 baby out of 10.
I was thinking that because you said the girls won by 85%. So I would say, yeah, 1 baby. If you rated the episode in terms of number of babies, and you have 1 out of 22, because I think there's either 21 or 22 women, pregnant ladies, and I think that if you want to rate it in terms of babies, 1 baby, because probably 1 or 2 said that the blue team were the better team out of all those ladies.
Well, and I would agree from the general viewing that I had that the pink team was probably better. So I'm not saying that I disagree with that. I just disagree with everything else. So anyway, Safi?
Okay, well, if you like this video, please hit the like button and think about being a subscriber. We would appreciate your subscribing to our channel. We welcome a discussion about what we've been watching, what you've been watching. We welcome suggestions, and we like new subscribers. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.